If you landed on this video, chances are you think Pinterest has untapped potential when it comes to driving traffic to your blog or business. And you're absolutely right. In 2020, Pinterest reported having over 400 million active users on their platforms, with their numbers constantly growing. The chances are whoever you're trying to reach, they're hanging out on Pinterest. And despite contrary belief, Pinterest is not just for moms looking for recipes or young girls looking for fashion outfits. Pinterest, as we know it, has expanded greatly over the past few years and is one of the main traffic sources for my blog. Hi there, my name is Anna and I'm a blogging coach and strategist and a Pinterest expert. In fact, I've written an entire book to help content creators just like you use Pinterest to drive traffic to their websites and get new readers or make more money online. If you're new to my channel, hang around for more videos just like this, and don't forget to hit the like button if you learned something new in this video. Before you can understand how to use Pinterest in your favor, you have to understand how it works as a platform and how users work it. One of the first things that Pinterest is a visual content platform. In other words, people post images to Pinterest, and when you get to your feed in there, you see a couple of rows of images as you scroll through. The more you use the platform, the more it learns what you like and what you don't like, so they show you more of what you've searched for or what you've shown interest for in your home feed. But here's the trick, it's not just photos like Instagram. Every single image comes from a content creator who posted that image somewhere on the web. So if you click on a recipe pin, for example, it will take you to a recipe blog. Unlike Instagram, you can attach a link to every single piece of content that you publish there, creating more opportunities to get clicks and traffic to your blog or to very specific pages on your blog. The next thing that Pinterest is a bookmarking website. In other words, people use it to save ideas and categorize those ideas so they're easier to find, especially since everything is so visual. So whether people find ideas on the actual platform on Pinterest, or they're just using the internet as normal, they find an idea, they find an article, they find a photo they like, and they save it to Pinterest from somebody else's website. If you have the Pinterest Chrome extension installed on your website, you'll see the little pin it button that allows you to save anything on the web and then categorize it to relevant boards. And those boards are super important, and I'm going to tell you in a second why. Because the third thing that Pinterest is a search engine. So above being a social sharing platform, Pinterest is a search engine, which means every single pin or photo that you see comes attached with a description, or Pinterest can embed that information related to the destination URL. In other words, everything works together so that Pinterest can understand what content is being saved, used, or shown to other users. Because Pinterest is a search engine, it's just a lot easier to rank for than the actual search engines out there, which are Google, Bing, and so on. For those platforms, you have to have an established website, do proper keyword research, plus it just takes longer for these search engines to trust your website. So if you're a blogger who's been blogging for less than a year, you're probably going to have difficulty ranking in Google. If that's you, make sure to also check out my other video on how to find easy to rank for keywords, because that might be why. But generally speaking, you're going to be able to rank in Pinterest search a lot quicker. But how do you get your pins in front of your target audience on Pinterest? Well, let's start from the beginning. If you're a brand new user, you will need to create a Pinterest business account. A business account allows you to access additional features such as analytics, and it makes Pinterest sees you as a content creator and not just a consumer on their platform. Not to mention that it allows you to claim your website, meaning Pinterest knows you own a specific website or even an Instagram account, therefore adding more credibility to your pins and content. Setting up a Pinterest business account is incredibly easy, and you don't actually have to be registered as a business. So even if you're just starting out your blog and you don't have it set up as a business, LLC, or you're just a sole trader, you really don't need to be. All you need to do is go to Pinterest, click the sign up button, find the create a free business account link. Fill out all the information there and you're good to go. Once you do that, the next step is to just create your public profile. Meaning you just need a photo. Ideally this would be a headshot with your face and not just a brand logo. Then you want to add a name. And for the name, make sure to use that space using keywords about what your account is about rather than just your name and blog name. Especially for a blog like mine, the She Approach, where the meaning of the blog or what I teach isn't necessarily super clear from the name, I make sure to include a few tips in there. So for example, my Pinterest name is Anna, blogging growth strategist and blog coach. Your about section is also super important to tell people what they should expect, and also to incorporate a few other keywords in there that you didn't have space for in the title. In the website section, you will be able to claim your website. So I've already done so for mine, which is why you might not be able to see it, but your claim process, you will just be able to click on the claim button. And once you've inserted the URL, they will give you a piece of code that you can embed into your website to claim that you actually have access to it. A really easy and non-techy way to claim your Pinterest account is by using the Yoast plugin. So if you have Yoast, it's an SEO plugin that's free for bloggers to use. If you have that installed, just find the settings for it in your WordPress dashboard, go to social, then find the Pinterest tab, and paste in your Pinterest confirmation. If you go back to your claim website, you'll see that you have an HTML tag. Copy all of that and just paste it all. They'll automatically select just a piece of code and then save changes. That will automatically claim your Pinterest website, which is super important to do, again, if you're serious about getting traffic from Pinterest. If you have articles or recipes on your website, you'll also want to enable the recommended rich pins for it. I'll paste a link in the description for you to be able to claim that. But basically, all you have to do is go to this rich pin validator page, and you want to do that after you've claimed your domain. And they're basically asking you to input a valid URL there, which is a URL to any of your blog posts or pages. It doesn't really matter. Just paste a link to your most recent article. So I'm just going to paste in the link to one of my newest income reports, click validate, and Pinterest will tell me if my rich pins are activated or not. If you're doing this for the first time, this is ideally what you'd like to see, or if you ever want to check to see if they're still enabled. So what this does, it pulls extra information from your website, feeding the Pinterest robots, which is only helpful to you. And they're able to see not only the name of the blog post, but also a quick description about it and other information that I have on it. Again, super helpful for you as a content creator if you want to stand out on Pinterest, because this also makes a difference in how pins are perceived or received in the home feed, because it will attach that extra information like the title right under the pin. The next thing that you want to do to set up your Pinterest account is to follow a couple of relevant accounts in your niche. So keep in mind that your Pinterest business profile is not just your personal Pinterest. And of course, to finalize setting up your Pinterest profile, you want to create boards on your profile to organize your content. So for example, for my Pinterest account, when you go to my boards, so I have blog trafficking tips, making money blogging, affiliate marketing, blogging resources. So starting off, you probably need 10 to 15 boards, and then you just want to add to it throughout the year as you see fit. The easiest way is to start a board for every category and subcategory you have in your blog. Keep in mind that you want to keep these boards public and you want to give them a good title and description. So keep it simple and make it really obvious for both search engines and for your users to know what they can find in that board. If you ever want to rearrange your boards and show some of the most important ones at the top, you can do so by pretty much drag and dropping them where you want to, and you'll see that Pinterest will create that space. You can also set custom boards for the covers. So as you can see here, they all have one main image that's bigger than the two that are shown next to it. Those two are always going to be the most recent pins that you've added to the board, so you can't really change. But for the main one, if you want a cohesive theme, as you can see, my Pinterest is a lot of blues because it's kind of my branding colors. Then you can easily arrange that. So just click this little crayon button right here, and where it says board cover, you want to click on it again, and it will display a few other pins that you've recently added into the board to choose one as the cover. So that's kind of the rule. If you want a specific image to be the board cover, you first have to save it to that board. And of course, you don't want your boards, once created, to be empty and just sitting there for you to add your own content. In fact, you want to populate those boards first with other people's pins. So for the first 10 to 15 pins that you add to a board, you basically want to solidify what the purpose of the board is and the topic of it. So what you can do, for example, I have this board on blog traffic. If that was a board that I've just created, before adding my own pins, because as you can see now, it has over 1,000 pins in it, and I have a combination of other people's pins and my own pins. So what I want you to do is pretty much go to the search in Pinterest and look up blog traffic tips and save a couple of the pins that are already ranking for that search result. So once again, Pinterest is a search engine, right? All these pins have already been deemed by Pinterest worthy of this search and useful to users who search this. By saving them into your board, you solidify that your board is also about blog traffic pins. So by the time you add your own content in there, Pinterest will kind of assimilate the information that's in the pins that are already in the board to your new pin. So I've talked a lot about adding your own pins eventually and making them rank, but how do you even create your own Pinterest pins? Well, I have a whole blog post about it with free tutorial included in there, and I am planning to create more tutorials just for YouTube on this topic because it's quite lengthy. But what I use is a free tool called Canva. Canva has a bunch of free templates that you can get started with right away. They have a whole library of them. So if you're starting from scratch and don't have a lot of design experience, or you just want to make the process a little easier and quicker, be sure to check out the Pinterest templates that Canva already has. But basically the next step is to customize them. So you can take a pin that looks something like this and turn it into a personalized and branded pin that looks something like this. So as you can see, I've only changed up a couple of colors, and then for each article that I write, I would change the title or even the image underneath. So Pinterest is still a visual search engine. So if you have something visual to show, like a recipe, an outfit, an idea, a craft, anything like that, include a photo next to it, but also write the text. And that's because it will be a lot more clear what the content is on the other side of the pin. So as you can see here, I've transformed it into a pin of my own for one of my articles. And because my niche is not that visual, I usually just use stock images. But again, using your own images is the best, especially if you can take high quality images, because it will stand out on Pinterest. And P.S. if you want 15 free Pinterest templates to use, my Pinterest ebook comes with a pack of them that you can take and customize to your own niche and needs. Not to mention that my Pinterest ebook will actually teach you a few secrets to the best performing pins. So as I was saying, you do need to have at least 2 to 5 images per blog post or article, but you don't have to start with 5 from the get-go. So just create a system that every time you publish a new post, you create at least 1 or 2 new pins for it. And if you're brand new to this whole Pinterest thing, make sure to create pins and graphics for older articles as well. But the next step of your Pinterest strategy should be distributing your pins to relevant boards. So we've talked a little about this when creating the topic for your boards, where I recommended that if you have a specific blog category where you publish a lot, you want to create boards associated with it. But the point I'm trying to make is that you need to create these boards so then when you add the pin to Pinterest, you can add it to a relevant board. And here's exactly how to do that if you're brand new to adding pins on Pinterest. The best way to upload a new pin is by going to the Create button and Create Pin. Then you can kind of drag and drop your image in there, or just click on it to find it on your laptop. After that, you obviously want to give it a title. And of course, don't forget to add the destination link in the URL. That means the specific link where you want this to lead to. And then if you scroll back to find the Publish button, you will see that it lets you choose one of the boards that you have. This is a super important choice for when a pin first hits Pinterest, and you want to select this more specific board. If you do prefer a manual pinning strategy, that's absolutely alright and it can still work. It just takes a little bit of daily work because you need to be consistent with it to grow on Pinterest. And I actually have an entire chapter on manually pinning, the best strategies, and even a broader description of how my system worked there for you to check out and implement for your own Pinterest account. But if you're like me and you just like things that are easy and simple and done for you even when you sleep, you might want to invest in a good Pinterest scheduler. I personally use Tailwind and I absolutely love them. And because you have a Pinterest business account, you can actually track your analytics very closely and see what pins are performing the best, what topics, and so on. But if you want more specific numbers, the best place to track that is of course your Google Analytics account, and you can see exactly how many people clicked over from Pinterest because their analytics are a lot more accurate by going to acquisition, social, and then network referrals. This will tell you exactly how many clicks you got and how many visits from each social network, and you can see Pinterest is the very top for me, it's doing really well, and once you click on it, it will tell you which posts perform better. And if you click on a specific post, it takes it a step further and it tells you exactly which pins. For mobile searches, they won't be able to tell you exactly, so that's why you'll just see Pinterest, Pinterest.com. But for anything else, if you click on the pin, if you copy the pin and put it into a new tab, it shows you the exact pin that performed the best for you. And sometimes they're really random pins that I've created years ago. And that's why I love Pinterest. Even though this blog post is super old and the graphics are very old and kind of outdated, it still works. So I hope this at least convinced you to give Pinterest a try. Remember, the most important thing if you actually want to achieve those numbers is to be consistent with it. You can just create an account, go crazy creating pins, and then disappear off the platform and not have any activity for weeks. It's really gonna hurt your numbers. But if you're consistent with it over time, you get to a point where you're gonna see constant traffic coming in from pins and images that you've added to the platform months, if not years ago. If you found this video helpful and you learned something new, please give it a like. If you have any questions about Pinterest whatsoever, leave a comment below. And of course, if you want to learn more about Pinterest and set up your account as a pro, along with creating a manual or automated pinning strategy that works for your niche specifically, be sure to check out my Pinterest ebook, which I'll link below. But it's my best-selling ebook for a reason. There've been over 4,000 people who've invested in this book and grown their Pinterest accounts. And of course, if you want to see more social media strategy videos from me, make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. As always, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your time and support, and I will see you soon.